Welcome to the channel. I'm Stacy, and my goal here is to help you to be front of house ready for your worship services. That does cover the tones, but it also covers the parts, and today we're going to be going over the parts for the song It Really Is Amazing Grace by Phil Wickham and Crowder. This one's in the key of B flat at 128 beats per minute, and we've got a chord progression, I guess a couple of chord progressions we're going to be doing, as well as some melodic stuff. The melodic stuff's going to come off of the B flat pentatonic scale, the major pentatonic, and most of them starting right here on our E-shaped B-flat chord barred at the 6th fret. We'll go over all the notes when we get to those parts, and so let's just get into it. So right off the bat, this song has 6 different electric guitar tracks and 2 acoustic, and one of them is a group. So the group one has acoustic stuff. It's got mandolin, a few other things in it. So I did initially pull some parts off of that for our first verse section. And I didn't want to copy exactly what that instrument was doing, and it was a little bit vague, especially being isolated. So I just modified what happens, what comes in for the second verse, for that first verse part that we play on. Anyway, that way it makes a bit more sense. It follows the melody better. And so that was my thinking there. And then for the intro, we're going to be playing a really cool little lick with lots of ambience. And we're just going to be up here on this D-shaped B-flat. And we're going to fret our B string at the 11th, pull it off to the 10th, strike the G string at the 12th, and then the 10th. And with all the effects, it'll sound like this. On the recording, I don't think they had that much ambient stuff. Maybe they did, but I liked how it filled out the space before we come in on the main intro lick, and that's going to be here. We're going to be playing off of that E-shaped B flat chord. So we're going to strike the G on the 7th fret, the B at the 6th fret twice, the G at the 7th fret again, and then we're going to strike the B at the 6th, hammer onto the 8th, pull off to the 6th. And then we're going to fret the D string at the 8th, the G at the 5th, the G at the 7th, twice on the 7th, and then fret the D at the 8th again, and then we're going to strike the G at the 6th, or the 7th, hammer onto the 8th, back to the 7th, and then strike the G at the 7th, the 5th, the 3rd, 2 times, strike the D at the 5th, and then we're going to do that hammer-on thing again. G on the 3rd to the 5th to the 3rd, the D on the 5th, the D on the 3rd 2 times, a slight pause, and then the D at the 3rd, the G at the 3rd, the D at the 3rd, the G at the 5th, back up to the G at the 7th, and we're going to run that part again. I'll play through that slow, and then it resolves a little different, and I'll go through that. And then resolving it after that second pass, we're going to strike that D again at the 3rd fret, the G at the 5th, and slide it up to the 7th. So that little part would resolve like this. So I'll play through that with all the effects. It's going to be the more driven snapshot that you'd want to use. This one has an ODR-1 into an heir apparent, and it's got a good lead tone. So it's going to be like this. That takes us into our first verse, and we're out for the first half of that verse section. And I think they call it verse 1 on the callouts in the multi-tracks. And then on verse 2, we're going to come in, and we're going to be doing some traditional melody. We're going to fret the G at the 7th, the B at the 6th, the D at the 8th, the G at the 7th, and then the G at the 8th, 7th, 5th, 3rd, 5th, and 3rd. And that's our first verse section. We don't come in for the first part, like I said. That's on the back half of it. And with all the effects, it'll be like this. This one doesn't have the ODR-1, so it's a little less driven. And then the repeats on the delay are a little bit louder. And so it'll be like this. Now we're into our first chorus, and we're going to be playing a barred E flat chord, 6th fret on the low E and A, 8th fret on the D. You don't have to rake it. You'll want to hit it hard. And then a B flat, low E at the 6th, A and D at the 8th. G minor, low E on the 3rd, G and B, A and D at the 5th. And then F, low E on the 1, A and D on the 3rd. It runs through that progression twice. On the 3rd pass, we're going to be the E flat to B flat to the F, G minor, back to F, and then the E flat to the B flat to the F. And we stay on that F for 2 measures. And with all the effects, that chorus will sound like this. Now we have a turnaround, and we're going to be starting again on the G on the 7th, the B on the 6th, the D on the 8th, the G on the 7th, and then the G on the 5th to the 3rd, then the D on the 5th to the 3rd. That's just going to be one time. Now we're into our next verse section, and we come in right away. We're going to bar the G and B string at the 3rd fret. We're going to strike the B first and then the G. The 5th on the G and the 7th. Let's see. And then the 5th to the 3rd. On the D string, the 5th to the 3rd. And then we're going to bar the D and the G. On the 3rd, we're going to strike the D first and then the G. The G on the 5th to the 7th. And then the G on the 5th, the B on the 6th. And then the G on the 7th, the B on the 6th. The D on the 8th, the G on the 7th. The G on the 8th. And then we're going to walk it down 7, 5, 3, 5, 7, 5, 3. And with all the effects, the turnaround into that verse section will sound like this. Now we're into our next chorus. This is going to be a bigger one, and we have a rhythmic pattern we're going to play. You can interpret this however you want. I tried to make it consistent so that it made sense on the tabs, but if you play it different and it still fits the chord changes and the overall feel of your band, totally fine. It's going to be the same chords. E flat only we're going to be playing in inversion. So the D and G string barred at the 8th fret, the B string at the 11th. Oop, a little out of tune. Sorry about that. All right, so E flat, like I said, D and G at the 8th, B at the 11th. I might have an intonation issue. And then the D at the 8th, the G at the 10th, the B at the 11th. That's our B flat. Our G minor, D and G on the 12th, B at the 11th. And then our F, D and G at the 10th, and B on the 13th. We play through that twice, and then it's the E flat to the B flat to the F to the G minor to the F, and then E flat to B flat to the F for 2 bars. And the pattern of it is, let me see. So it's, the hits are, and then I got 2 chuckas in between each chord. So I'll run through that whole chorus with all the effects, and it'll sound like this. So when that one resolves, we're resolving to that inverted B flat. At that point, you can kick on your more ambient preset. That's what we're going to be using for the bridge. So we're going to be fretting the D at the 8th fret, the G at the 5th, the G at the 7th, the G at the 8th, walk it back down, 7, 5, and then 2 hits on the D on the 8th. That's the first pass. The second pass is similar, except instead of 2 hits on the D string at the 8th, it's going to be 1, and then 1 string on the B string at the 6th. The third pass, we're going to do it the same as the first, resolving it, hitting it 2 times on the 8th fret on the D string, and then the 7th fret on the D string, and then the 10th fret on the D string, and we're going to drive that with 2 counts of 8. And with all the effects, it'll sound like this. Now, when we come out of that, I just slide it down. It just gives a little bit of movement. You'll hear those repeats. And then the chorus is going to kick off, but we're not coming in until the G minor. So they're going to hit their E flat to B flat, the rest of the band. And then we come in heavy with our G minor, and it's going to be that same pattern to the F. And then everything's the same until we get to the end. We're going to play our E flat to the B flat, to the F, and this is going to be for the 2 measures, except we're going to come out one, let's see, we're going to come out on the 4th hit. I may have gotten that rhythm a little bit off. Without hearing it in the recording, it's easy to get thrown off, so I think I got it now. So I'll play through that last chorus, the way we come in on the G minor, and then how we end going into the outro. And with all the effects, it'll sound like this. There we go. So coming out of that, we're going to be into the outro. We're going to be fretting our G at the 7th, the B at the 6th, the D at the 8th, the G at the 7th, the G at the 5th, and then the 3rd, and then the D at the 5th and the 3rd. We're going to do that 2 times, and then we're going to resolve it by barring the D and G string at the 3rd and the B and high E at the 8th. Something like that. There wasn't a part, they have us coming out as soon as we hit that D on the 3rd, just letting all the notes ring out, but the rest of the band is doing fun stuff, so I thought we should be in there too. So that coming out of the last chorus and into the outro will be like this with all the effects. All right, I hope you found this one helpful. If you did, subscribe and hit that like button for good measure. If you'd like the resources for this song, you'll find them at a link in the description box below. There's also a free download down there for you, and that is the Sunday Starter Pack. There's one for HX Stomp that includes 2 free presets, a tabs reference chart, as well as a MIDI controller guide if you're using a MIDI controller with your HX Stomp. It helps you to change snapshots, to change presets, as well as to turn effects on and off. And then there is the Sunday Starter Pack for Helix, and that has 2 free presets for Helix, as well as the tabbed reference chart. All right, I hope you have a great week, and I'll see you in the next one.